recently I went to Toys R Us, and here's the thing. I have been sort of kind of obsessed with shelving, trying to improve my shelving situations and just trying to make everything sort of fit, I guess you'd say, neatly. Trying to conserve space as much as possible, and because collectors will tell you, space ends up being an issue at some point. Unless you're a millionaire or something, space ends up being an issue. And so I quickly realized that I'd have to start figuring out shelving ideas and things like that. So I'm constantly paying attention for stores closing. And even before Toys R Us ever announced that they were closing down and all this stuff, I have experience with stores closing. And way before all this, months and months and months ago, a toy store near me was going out of business, and I stopped and I got some Nintendo marketing off of them and just a few little things. Well, when they announced this bankruptcy, it was kind of like, yeah, it sucks that they're going out of business, and I wish they weren't. But at the same time, it's like, holy shit, I'm gonna be able to get some shit probably. Like, a lot of fucking shit. So, I went to take a ride out to one of them, and I ended up broadcasting live from Facebook to show some of the other collectors, like, look, you need to go ride to these stores. If you're trying to look for stuff to help decorate or to help, keep all your shelving, whatever you're looking for your game room, you need to go check out these toy stores. And so I walk into Toys R Us and I go straight for the game department. Now, in my experience, whether it's a Sears or JCPenney or Kmart or whatever, usually if it's a corporate store that they have, regional managers and stuff like that, if it's not like someone like Kmart, there's no Kmart, I think, in the world left that's still open that is tied to the franchise. Like Kmart as we know it is gone unless it's a private owner. But something like Toys R Us, if it's not a situation like that, if it's a corporate one, they usually, or any other store that's public, or I guess you'd say, they usually have someone that's in charge of the shutting down of the store. Like, they basically cover a certain region or whatever, and they go out and they oversee all these stores closing. They usually have this guy in a hotel. He's usually trying to do things really quick, doesn't want to be bothered, whatever. So I'm looking for that person. I see a bunch of stuff that I want, so I'm looking around at the employees, and I'm like, who's the guy bossing everybody around? So I make eye contact with that person, and I start walking towards him, and I'm just quick to the point, trying not to waste any of his time, because all the you need to keep in mind, all these people are losing their jobs and everything. They're upset, and they have a right to be. They don't know what the fuck they're gonna do in the future. So, don't hassle these people. Try and, empathize with them, what they're going through. And, of course, I can right now, because I'm in a similar situation. So, I'm talking to them, and I'm like, look, I'm a collector of video games. I'm just looking for stuff that can help organize and decorate my game room more. And he's like, look, whatever you want to grab that's not bolted down, marketing wise, whatever, take whatever you want. As long as you do not need help from any of our employees, and as long as you're not lifting anything heavy that can hurt your back, or using any sort of tools that can cut you or anything like that, we're fine. I never talked to that guy again. He was so cool, and I left him alone, do what he was doing. He gave me this tool, and it's just a little plastic tool. if you've ever seen some of the peg wall, the pegboard that is on gondola shelves, Nintendo's, a lot of different companies, but Nintendo made these peg sheets that go over them, and it's just got these decorative Mario character patterns to it, and it just slides over the sheet, and these little pegs go into them, locking them in place. So it's sort of like you really want these pegs too, and to not tear the sheets, you need to remove them and keep them. So he gave me the tool, and I'm taking shelves down and everything, and I'm taking the sheets off. I probably spent an hour and a half in Toys R Us going through all the marketing, taking about as much as I figured I would need. And because I did kind of share stuff. I figured other people were going to come here doing the same thing as me, so I'm not going to take absolutely everything. So I'm taking down all these pegs, and I'm keeping every single one of them. I have these planned for these shelves here that I'm going to end up turning into gondola shelves at some point. I have 9 foot to work with, so if I use the 3 foot shelves, I could put 3 of them and it'll fit. It should fit no problem. So at some point I'm gonna do that and upgrade the shelving here. So I got enough to do my gondola shelf that all my consoles are on, and I got enough paper to do this shelf here when I finally am able to do that. And then they had this Mario like cardboard standee that I got. That was the first thing that you did. He just grabbed it up there and was like, here. So I had to like go get a basket, put that in, put all the sheets. I would roll them up and put them in the basket. And then I got a topper, which I don't think I'm gonna be able to use the topper because I think it's made for a 4 foot wide gondola shelf, and so far the ones I have are 3 foot, so I don't think I'll be able to use that topper. I also found these strips. Now, I had previously had some marketing strips in the front of my gondola shelves for my consoles, but they were just kind of pushed in there. I started noticing that all these shelves had the plastic strips that hold the sheets in. So I started pulling those out because he was like, anything that's not bolted down, and you can get. So I got all the they didn't have much, but I got all the Nintendo marketing sheets they had, and I took, I guess, about 15 marketing strips. I wish I'd have took more, because I took enough to do my gaming shelf, but I didn't take enough to do these when I have the gondola shelf done here. So at some point I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get more. But I had enough to put the marketing on my gaming shelf. Well, after that, I pretty much had thought, okay, I got all the Nintendo stuff. Now I need to hurry up and just go bring this in the car before somebody tells me, like, oh, well, no, we were saving this for this person or whatever. So I went, offload all that stuff into my vehicle. So then it was like, okay, I've got all the video game stuff I could possibly get. Oh, and by the way, I had also grabbed some PS4 marketing strips, and they didn't have really anything else. They didn't have Xbox One. They didn't really have 3DS. They had some, but they were in the glass cases. And I wasn't going to ask the guy. It was a situation where he had already warned me, if you need employees to do this, whatever. I didn't want to bother the guy, because what he'd have had to do is he'd have had to get somebody with the key, if he didn't have the key himself, but he was busy, so I didn't want him to have to do that. Somebody would have to come and open the thing and watch me to make sure me or no one else is stealing out of this case, because they still had games in there, and systems and stuff, so they'd have had to sit there and watch as I take these little strips out. So I said, fuck it. And so I was going, as far as I was concerned, I was done with the gaming department. So now it was, okay, let's see if there's any sort of shelving I can get. I offloaded all the stuff. I'm going back in there to see if there's any sort of displays. What was going through my head was, every now and then they have these light up displays for toys, like shadow box type displays. Sometimes it's a Lego display. I was thinking maybe get one of those small little ones, you know, and maybe I could do something like that. Well, I'm looking all over the store, and as I'm pulling up on some of these displays I'm talking about, it's kind of like, well, I don't really feel like they're gonna work out too well. But I ended up running across this pretty big display, and I'm like, man, I can do something with this though. I really think I could do something with this. So I ended up taking it. I got a guy that just so happened to be in the store to kind of help me put it in a basket. I had to buy a shelf for it to fit on. It's exactly 4 foot wide. It's meant to go on the top of a gondola shelf. It actually can bolt to it, but they didn't have the screws or anything for me to take with it. You know, and they were like, that's cool. You could take that, you know, whatever. They had another one that was identical to it, but I didn't have enough room left in my vehicle to take both of them. I wish I could have, but, you know, here's some of the progress that I made with it. And I also recently got this Game & Watch. I had got the box off a friend on Facebook, and then I was able to find the actual Game & Watch on eBay. It was about $60. So, and I only paid like, I think I paid 20 for the box. So I don't think that was that bad of a deal. And the Game & Watch works perfectly. So, you know, this display, the Game & Watch, and this little light up PlayStation sign, and the marketing designs that I upgraded my gondola shelves with. That's, you know, that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for the pickups, I guess, that I have. But that's kind of what's new about my game room as of right now. Well, that's gonna pretty much do it for me. This is Trevor over Toploaded Gaming. See you next time.